everyone, welcome to another Railgun S episode, with episode 2. And last week kinda gave us an intro to, back into the universe of Railgun. We had a lot of action, a little bit of story, a little bit of slice of life, and kind of an all-around feel-good episode. And episode 2, I guess is progression of the story, towards getting closer towards the Misaka sisters arc and all that. And this episode kind of opens up with a little bit of a flashback to Misaka as like a little kid, her kid version, and she's kind of watching these I guess teenagers or kids, whatever you want to call them, struggle with a muscular disease called muscular dystrophy. And the scientist is watching them with her, and he's basically explaining to her that these kids here are suffering from a muscle disease that with better treatment and help from certain people, they could find a cure for this. Which, for this part of the episode was the biggest, I guess, standout moment for me, because my personal life, I suffered with the same type of disease. I have a form of muscular dystrophy called Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, I think, yeah. And basically, the rundown of the disease is slow progression of your muscles getting weaker, ultimately resulting in most people that I know that have this disease, they're in wheelchairs by the time they're like 15, 16. For me, my personal life, I didn't start using a motorized chair until I was like halfway through high school, like when I was like 18, 19, so 20, around there. So for that, the moment in the beginning of the episode stood out the most to me because I can relate to what they're doing. In the case of Misaka, she has electrical power, so in real world scenario, I've seen research done where they use electrical stimulation on muscles to keep them moving. Thus, I guess it slows down the progression of the disease a little bit. I've never had that, treatment done or anything like that before, but I've heard of it, and there are some real life, I guess, treatment offers, not treatment, but prevention things they can do with electricity. Flexible stimulant, like that. And originally that's what I think Misaka was lured into. These scientists originally probably brought the plan to her that if we had your ability, we could, create stuff that helps these people walk and everything else with your electrical power. But if you know the storyline of Index, you know how all that went down. These scientists really are not looking to help these children or these kids at all with their muscle disease. So. But like I said, that was the biggest standout point for me, and it slowly is revealing Misaka's backstory. And to jump from that, we jump to, I guess, the current timeline, and Misaka's kind of like sleeping in her room. Like it's a regular, typical morning for her. She's hugging her little bear thing, and of course, next to her is laying is Kuriko, her very excited friend, I should say, her Yuri interest. It's more Kuriko, but yeah, those two they're always doing stuff together like this, but Misaka always gets violent and punches her, hits her, shocks her to get her off of her. And most of the episode is kind of slice of life. You follow Misaka and Kiriko for the, I guess, part of the beginning part of the episode where they are kind of like looking around. Misaka's trying to go shopping basically, and Kiriko's kind of like complaining that Misaka doesn't want her to go with her and all this stuff. But Kiriko's like, I know a shortcut, so they try to cut through these buildings, but at the same time, while they're trying to get through, these other kid students are coming through this little tiny narrow pathway in the building. So I guess there's several of these around town. Kuriko knows all because of her work with their judgment people. But as they're trying to sneak through there, they keep having to stop and let people by because everyone's using this shortcut. Even it's kind of funny that this very overweight person kind of sliding through, and Misaka and Kiro kind of look at each other like, oh god, this is not going to work. So they teleport away, and thus they kind of reveal the plot of the episode. As Kiriko teleports, she slips on like a bottle or whatever, and hits her head, and like does a little comedy bit. And under this, like, I guess air conditioner vent, she sees like an envelope. So they reach for it and grab it, and revealing I guess a cash card, which is like a prepaid card basically. And they take it back to their main headquarters, Judgment, and Yorihara reveals that there are 56 of these cards all around town that have different amounts of money on them, ranging from like typical like $5 to maybe $1,000 or even more than that. And people around town are kind of exploring the back alleys of the Academy City, looking for the money. So that's basically the plot of the episode. And like I said, there's 56 of these cards all around town, and I guess 56 have been turned in. I think, I don't know, I wasn't too sure on that, but so Misaka kind of like leaves because it's really not her place to help him right now. And on the way to go shop again, she runs into Saten, who's kind of on the ground, like sniffing for money. Like, I guess that's one of her things, is money and things like that, and getting rich. And that's kind of her background character. So Saten just kind of grabs a hold of Misaka and like says that, you know, I saw you earlier, hinting towards that Saten might have seen one of the Misaka sisters walking around town. Cause the money cards, I think, are more clues to the sisters as well, giving them. I think that they've mentioned this part in the first season of Index, that they had these like a system worked out where they could leave them money or help them get money for food, stuff like that. Which I think is part of what Misaka. Maybe Misaka's leaving these money cards for them. I don't know. They really didn't explore that much, but yeah. So with Saten, she kind of finds a bunch of money cards. They find like these 4 or 5 envelopes, and they split it. But Misaka's kind of like doesn't want it because it's not really her money. But yeah. And on the way home, Misaka sees these group of like 5, 6 people. Like they're like gang members almost. There's a bunch of these type of people around this city, and she kind of follows them. And they all, I guess, they find clues to who's been leaving the money cards original. And they've arrived at this like beat down, broken building or house, and they find this girl like short purple hair, and her name is Shinobu, and she's, I think you've seen her in the opening. She's a scientist character, and they reveal that she has no psychic abilities, so she's level 0 like Saten. But just like Saten, Shinobu's kind of tricky. She uses words to get in your head and make you think that she has an ability. She originally tells one of the guys that she has the ability to kill you by touching you, and then by touching people, she starts spreading this fear among these 5 bullies, and they're like freaking out. And yeah, she uses like her smarts to outsmart these guys and trick them and scare them. She even like turns the lights off and says, "I'm gonna kill you" or something, and that scares one of the main guys. And watching this, Misaka kind of steps in. She's like, "I was about to help you if you ran into any trouble." And of course, Shinobu kind of turns to her and just like stares at her for a minute, like just stares at her. She doesn't really say much. The way she speaks is in like a deadpan voice. She just to the point, whatever she wants to say. And she looks at Misaka and kind of stares at her, and like the only thing she says is like, "Oh, so you're one of the originals." And I guess she knows Misaka's the original clone, the one they use for the cloning system. And yeah, it's kind of funny watching that. Watching Shinobu, a new character, do something kind of funny watching that. And I think they're trying to reveal that Shinobu is actually the one leaving the cards for the other sisters. And which I think they'll probably reveal next time. But for me, this episode was kind of cool. I mean, like I said, the beginning part was the most standout part for me because I can relate to what's going on with that. And to me, that's kind of what makes this series kind of interesting for me, just based on all that. And those bits with Kiriko and Saten, those two are always kind of doing something funny and silly most of the time. And again, this new character, she's the bridge to what they're doing next week. Is going to be more sister related stuff with Misaka. Anyway, that's been my thoughts and stuff on episode 2 of Railgun S. Hope to see you next time for episode 3. Catch you later.